Here we are, Mail Online. The latest on the Australian Royal Commission consequences. You've got the heading, Abuse Survivors Want Action After Apology, and this is from the Australian Associated Press. Child sex abuse victims have been given a historic national apology, but now they want action. I believe you, we believe you, your country believes you, Prime Minister Scott Morrison told Parliament on Monday. He then read the official apology to survivors and their families who gathered in Parliament's Great Hall with a mix of sadness, anger and relief. Rick Venero was abused at a Marist Brothers school in Sydney, and he now wants action taken against institutions who protected paedophiles. The biggest concern for me now is the continued funding of these institutions that are obstructionist, he says. We're talking about institutions which have destroyed records. They're criminal offences. Why have there been no charges? The hierarchy that kept moving these paedophiles around, why haven't they been charged? Michael Delaney was 16 when he suffered abuse at a youth training centre, and he tearfully watched Mr. Morrison make the official apology. There's no amount of anything they can do to take the pain away, he said in Melbourne. Mr. Delaney welcomed the government statement but said the real people who should be saying sorry are the ones who were in charge at the time. Cairns woman Amanda Bowers wants sanctions for institutions that don't sign up to the National Redress Scheme. Today was the first step and sounds like progress is on its way, but this is just the beginning, Mrs. Bowers told AAP. She is still waiting for her former religious community, Jehovah's Witnesses, to sign up. Yep, they still haven't signed up for the redress scheme, although they said they would when they were under oath on the stand. Give institutions an ultimatum. If they don't sign up, they get a hefty fine or lose their charity status, Ms. Bowers said. The Child Abuse Royal Commission heard from 17,000 survivors and made 122 recommendations to the government. Wow. To date, the government has rolled out a national redress scheme with the new Office of Child Safety to report to the Prime Minister. Mr. Morris also announced a National Centre for Excellence to raise awareness and understanding of the impacts of child sexual abuse and a national museum. It's weird. We can never promise a world where there are no abusers, but we can promise a country where we commit to hear and believe our children, Mr. Morrison said. There you are. And Jehovah's Witnesses getting a dishonourable mention, as they should do.
I'm going to take Cheryl's hand. This is the apology that I tabled in the Parliament. I have not read this anywhere. This will be the first place that I read the formal apology, which will be provided to you today, and it's being done for you here in this place. I'd like you to take the hand of those next to you, because stand with you, stand together, and I want to read you the apology to all of you. Today, the Australian Government and this Parliament, on behalf of all Australians, unreservedly apologises to the victims and survivors of institutional child sexual abuse. For too many years, our eyes and hearts were closed to the truths we were told by children. For too many years, governments and institutions refused to acknowledge the darkness that lay within our community. Today, we reckon with our past and commit to protect children now and into the future. Today, we apologise for the pain, the suffering and trauma inflicted upon victims and survivors as children, and for its profound and ongoing impact. As children, you deserve care and protection. Instead, the very people and institutions entrusted with your care failed you. You suffered appalling physical and mental abuse and endured horrific sexual crimes. As fellow Australians, we apologise for this gross betrayal of trust and for the fact that organisations with power over children, schools, religious organisations, governments, orphanages, sports and social clubs, charities were left unchecked. Today we say we are sorry. Sorry that you were not protected. Sorry that you were not listened to. We are sorry for refusing to trust the words of children, for not believing you. As we say sorry, we also say, we believe you. We say what happened was not your fault. We are sorry that perpetrators of abuse were relocated and shielded rather than held to account, that records have been withheld and destroyed, and accountability avoided. We are sorry that the justice and child welfare systems that should have protected you were at times used to perpetrate yet more injustices against you. We apologise for the lifelong impacts this abuse has had on your health, your relationships, and your ability to live life to its full potential. We also extend this apology to your children, your parents, siblings, families, friends, and supporters, all those who have helped carry the burden of your experiences and helped advocate for accountability. We regret that your children's lives have been changed and relationships have been broken by the enduring effects of abuse. We hear the rage, despair and hurt of parents whose trust was betrayed along with your own. We admit that we failed to protect the most vulnerable people in our society from those who abuse their power. Our community believed people and institutions who did not deserve our trust instead of believing the children who did. Because of our inaction, too many victims are no longer with us to hear this apology. They did not live to see the justice they deserved, but today we remember them and we extend this apology along with our sincere sympathies to their families, friends and supporters. As we say sorry, we honour the courage of survivors and advocates who spoke out to expose sexual abuse in our institutions, often at great personal cost. Your voices saved lives. Your bravery has allowed us to uncover this dark chapter of our national life and understand what we must now do to protect children. We also acknowledge the many victims and survivors who have not spoken of their abuse. Your suffering is no less anguished for your silence. Together as a government, a parliament and a community, we must all play a role in the protection of children from abuse. We must accept our responsibility to keep our eyes and ears open and speak out to keep our children safe. We must listen to children and believe what they tell us. Child sexual abuse is a serious criminal act and a violation of Australian law. Perpetrators must and will be held to account. Today we commit to take action, to build awareness in our community and strengthen our systems to promote children's safety across Australia. We commit to ensuring that all our institutions are child safe. We know that we must and will do better to protect all children in Australia from abuse, and that our actions will give true and practical meaning to this apology. Our children deserve nothing less. We are sorry. Can I conclude by thanking Julia Gillard for initiating the Royal Commission.
Oh my, well that certainly was moving, wasn't it? Very important. May other nations join in and support those children, the survivors and the children to be. Much love. Bye for now.